Chapter 1473. After I came to the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect, I accidentally got into a conflict with someone and had a big fight. Unexpectedly, my master took a fancy to me. My master is the sect leader of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. She took me in as a pro-disciple. Later on, I was tested to have a rare innate demon body. Therefore, I was made the saintess of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. Xian Yinqing explained. Innate demon body, is it a type of innate spiritual body? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. That was possible. After all, the cultivation level in the divine wilderness continent was too low. Some heaven-defying talents could not be discovered or discovered. However, it was different in the Yuanlu continent. Moreover, there were many types of innate spiritual bodies. For example, Yin Feng's innate spiritual body was the worst among the innate spiritual bodies. After breaking through to the martial emperor realm, he could only transform into an inferior earth spiritual body. Some strong innate spiritual bodies could transform into a medium earth spiritual body or even a superior earth spiritual body or even stronger. Xian Yinqing's innate demon body was probably extraordinary. Therefore, she was made the saintess of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. Moreover, Lu Ming realized that Xian Yinqing's cultivation was higher than his. She had reached the peak of level 3 Martial Emperor Realm and was only a step away from level 4 Martial Emperor Realm. Lu Ming finally understood why Xian Yinqing did not go to the Great Emperor Mystic Realm. It was very likely that Xian Yinqing had already broken through to the Martial Emperor Realm and could not enter the Great Emperor Mystic Realm. Following that, Lu Ming briefly explained his experience along the way. Xiao Qing, that Lu Yu doesn't seem to get along with you? Lu Ming asked. That's right. She and I are both saintesses and are qualified to compete for the position of the future sect leader of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. She brought you to see me because she wants to damage my reputation. She doesn't have good intentions. Xian Yinqing explained. Although there was no rule in the Sky Universe Demon Sect that forbade the Holy Maiden from associating with others, it was generally hoped that the Holy Maiden would try her best not to associate with others before she broke through to the Saint Realm because it would distract her. Lu Yu had purposely brought Lu Ming here to find Xian Yinqing to let others know that Xian Yinqing had a boyfriend and that they were dating. This way, the higher-ups of the Sky Universe Devil Sect would have a bad impression of Xian Yinqing, and their chances of competing for the position of Sect Master would be lower. This was the reason why Lu Yu had brought Lu Ming in. Xian Yinqing's lips curled into a smile as he said, if she wants to compete for the position of Sect Master, then let her. After all, I don't care about the position of Sect Master. Xiao Qing, regardless of whether you have a heart or not, you still have to be careful in the future. Lu Ming asked with concern. Yes, I know. Xian Yinqing nodded. The two continued to chat for a while. Meanwhile, the news that a strange man with a cultivation of the second-layer Martial Dominator realm was the boyfriend of the Holy Maiden Xian Yinqing was spread across the Sky Universe Demon Sect, causing a great uproar. A second-layer Martial Emperor trash is the Holy Virgin's boyfriend? This is ridiculous. A toad lusting after a swan's flesh. I'll let him know that he's not worthy of the Holy Maiden. Voices filled with anger and jealousy could be heard from the mouths of the young men. That being said, Xian Yinqing and Lu Ming were unaware of this. The two continued to be intimate with each other. A few hours later, Lu Ming, it's rare for you to come to the Sky Universe Demon Sect. I'll show you around. There are some nice places in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Xian Yinqing said. Sure. Lu Ming nodded. The two came out from the palace and walked in the air while holding hands, taking a stroll in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. However, before long, they were stopped by a young man. How dare you take advantage of the Holy Maiden? You deserve to die, the young man roared. His eyes were burning with jealousy when he saw Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing holding hands. Xian Yinqing was a legend in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. She came from a small continent and was recruited by the Sky Universe Demon Sect's envoy. As soon as she arrived, she was chosen by the Sky Universe Demon Sect's sect leader as a core disciple. Later, it was found that she had a rare innate demon body and was named the Holy Maiden. Moreover, Xian Yinqing was a kingdom-toppling beauty. Compared to Xian Yinqing, some of the beauties in the Sky Universe Devil Sect paled in comparison. Therefore, Xian Yinqing became the goddess in the eyes of many young men in the Sky Universe demon sect. However, Xian Yinqing's personality was cold and aloof. She treated everyone with a cold expression and had a strange temper. There wasn't a single handsome young man who could make her smile. But now, Xian Yinqing's boyfriend had suddenly appeared, and he was even holding hands with Xian Yinqing. This caused the youth to almost explode from anger. He was so jealous that he wanted to vomit blood. Get lost. A cold voice came from Xian Yinqing's mouth. Holy maiden, this person is trash. You have to think twice. Don't be fooled. The young man roared. Get lost. You only have 3 breaths of time. Xian Yinqing said coldly, and a terrifying aura spread out from her body. The young man's face turned ugly. He gave Lu Ming a warning look and then turned to leave. Little Qing, it seems that you are very popular in the Sky Universe demon sect. Lu Ming muttered. Xian Yinqing rolled her eyes at Lu Ming and smiled. If the young men in the Sky Universe demon sect saw Xian Yinqing's expression, they would be dumbfounded. What's wrong? Are you jealous? Are you feeling pressured? I have many suitors in the Sky Universe demon sect. There are even geniuses from other sections. Some of them are even at the peak of the Martial King realm. Xian Yinqing blinked her big eyes and looked at Lu Ming. I am a little jealous. However, I don't feel pressured. These people are nothing in my eyes. In a few years, they will not be my opponents. Lu Ming smiled confidently. You are so shameless, Xian Yinqing said with a smile, his face brimming with happiness. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly looked in front of him. In front of him, rays of light streaked across the sky. Even though they were far away, Lu Ming could see that they were young men flying towards him angrily. Lu Ming's lips curled up and he said, Since you said that I am shameless, I will show you how shameless I am. After saying this, Lu Ming directly hugged Xian Yinqing's slender waist and pulled Xian Yinqing into his arms. How dare you? Let go of your stinky hands. Despicable ant. How dare you? I'm going to cripple your hands. Let go. Several young men appeared in front of Lu Ming and Xian Yinqing. When they saw Lu Ming hugging Xian Yinqing, their eyes almost spat fire. Their faces turned red, and they could not wait to devour Lu Ming. Damn it, the sacred and noble saintess was being hugged by this guy. Upon having this thought, they could not wait to tear Lu Ming into pieces. All of you, piss off. It's none of your business. Xian Yinqing snapped coldly. Saintess, you are still young. Don't be fooled by this guy. That's right. You have a peerless talent. You should find a guy with the same talent. For example, I am only a second-layer martial dominator trash. The young men spoke one after another. Emoji. Chapter 1474. Emoji sneered as he watched from the crowd. At this moment, he stepped out and shouted, Lu Ming, I know that you and the Holy Lady came from the same small mainland and have known each other since a long time ago. However, in that small mainland, the Holy Lady was like a pearl covered in dust and her talents were not discovered. Therefore, your cultivation seems to be worthy of the Holy Lady. However, the Saintess' talent has been revealed and she is now from a different world from you. The difference between you and the Saintess is too great. If you know what's good for you, leave the Saintess. Don't waste her time. There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. In other words, you're saying that you're very powerful and talented? Of course, how can you compare yourself to us? Someone replied with a sneer. Hee hee. Lu Ming let out a disdainful smile and said, I, Lu Ming, came from a desolate continent, the Divine Desolation continent. I'm 26 years old now, and I'm a second-layer martial royal realm cultivator. What about you? You call yourselves geniuses from the Yuanlu continent. With such a good environment and cultivation at your age, what gives you the right to act all high and mighty in front of me? If you give me a few years, I'll surely trample all of you under my feet. Lu Ming's powerful voice spread far and wide, causing the young geniuses of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect to wear unpleasant expressions. How presumptuous! Who do you think you are? How dare you say you can trample all of us under your feet? You're a tyrant on a desolate island, and you think you can do the same in the Yuanlu continent? You're overestimating yourself. The young geniuses scolded loudly. One of them stepped forward and yelled furiously, "Kid, I'm also a second-layer martial royal realm cultivator. Do you dare to fight me? If you want to fight, let's fight." Lu Ming let go of Xian Yinqing and stepped forward. "Kid, even if we're at the same level, I'll let you know what true strength is. I'll defeat you in 10 moves." The young man yelled coldly as a demonic aura soared into the sky. He looked like a demon god as he waved his hands, and a terrifying demonic light slashed at Lu Ming. "Get lost." Lu Ming's eyes glistened as he took a step forward. 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. Now, Lu Ming had already cultivated the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps to perfection. A casual step was like 9 dragons walking in the sky, and its power was terrifying. Boom! Lu Ming took a step forward, causing the void to tremble. A dragon roar shook the 9 heavens, and 9 dragons flew out from under Lu Ming's feet. His opponent's demonic light was immediately shattered by the 9 dragons, which then crashed heavily into his opponent's body. The other party let out a blood-curdling scream as the bones in his body crackled. His body was sent flying, and he coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. He flew for over 1,000 meters before finally coming to a halt, defeated in 1 move. How is this possible? He muttered to himself. It was simply unbearable. Just a moment ago, he was acting all high and mighty. He wanted to teach a lesson to Lu Ming, an ant from an uncivilized island, with the title of Yuan Lu's genius. He even said that even if they were on the same level, he would let Lu Ming know what true battle prowess was. He would defeat Lu Ming in 10 moves. But now, he had been defeated by Lu Ming in a single move. Compared to what he had just said, he was so ashamed that he wished he could find a crack and hide in it. The faces of the other young men of the Sky Universe demon sect changed. The young man from before had an inferior earthly spiritual body. His battle prowess could easily crush other cultivators of the same level, but he had been defeated by Lu Ming in a single move. This made them reevaluate Lu Ming. Who else wants to fight me? My cultivation is at the early stage of the 2nd-layer martial royal realm. Those of the 4th-layer martial royal realm or below can fight me. If you can defeat me, I'll leave right away. Lu Ming glanced at the crowd as his voice echoed from afar. What? Cultivators of the 4th layer of the martial emperor realm and below are allowed to fight. Arrogant beyond belief. You're overestimating yourself. The young men of the Sky Universe Demon sect yelled furiously. Lu Ming had said that those of the 4th layer martial royal realm or below from the Sky Universe Demon sect could fight him. He was only at the early stage of the 2nd-layer martial royal realm, but he dared to say that he could fight the 4th-layer martial royal realm geniuses of the Sky Universe Demon sect. Kid, don't think you're so great just because you defeated someone of the same level. I'll fight you. A young man yelled furiously as he stepped forward. A powerful aura burst out from him, forming a demonic cloud that covered the sky. This person's cultivation was at the 3rd-layer martial royal realm. Bang! 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 Lu Ming was straightforward. He took a step forward and executed the 9 dragons' heaven-trampling steps again. Each of Lu Ming's steps caused the sky to rumble as if a giant was walking in the sky. In an instant, 9 giant dragons danced in the air as they lunged toward his opponent. Break! His opponent yelled as he threw out dozens of punches in a row. Rays of pitch-black fist radiance shot toward Lu Ming. However, when the 9 dragons collided, the fist radiance collapsed. Bang! Just like the previous one, the young man was sent flying by the 9 dragons. He let out a cry of agony as he spat out mouthfuls of blood. Another move. Just like the previous young man, he was defeated with a single move. There seemed to be no difference between the 3rd-layer martial royal realm and the 2nd-layer martial royal realm. The only difference was that Lu Ming had taken a few more steps. The young men of the Sky Universe Demon sect exchanged glances with one another. How could Lu Ming's strength be so terrifying? Was he really someone from the desolated island? Xian Yinqing smiled from behind. Lu Ming was getting stronger. Humph, maybe he used all his strength in that move. He's just putting up a strong front. A cold voice came from the crowd. It was Emojia. Many people's eyes flickered. Maybe that was the case. Perhaps Lu Ming's earlier move seemed simple, but it was very likely that he had unleashed all his power at once and unleashed all his trump cards. That was why he was able to defeat his opponent in one move and obtain victory. Maybe Lu Ming's strength had reached its limit. That must be it. Many people thought so. Otherwise, how could a lowly ant from a desolate island have such strong combat strength? How could they endure this? Emojia, do you dare to come out and fight me? Lu Ming stared at Emojia and said coldly. Emojia's face darkened. In the great Emperor Mystic Realm, he had indeed fought with Lu Ming and was no match for Lu Ming. Emojia, go. Let this kid know the true power of the Sky Universe Demon Sect's genius. That's right. With your strength, it'll be easy to take him down. The other young men of the Sky Universe Demon Sect said, causing Emojia's face to darken. What? You don't dare to fight me? Why don't you just admit defeat? Also, all of you, get lost. Lu Ming sneered. Arrogant. Emojia, teach him a good lesson. A young man was enraged. Bang, bang. Emojia stepped out and stared coldly at Lu Ming. Lu Ming, times have changed. Now, I can defeat you. Boom. A powerful aura exploded from Emojia's body. Peak level 3 Martial Royal Realm. Chapter 1475. For someone like Emojia, he had suppressed his cultivation when he was a sovereign. Once he broke through to the Martial Royal Realm, his cultivation would improve by leaps and bounds. However, after reaching the peak of LV3 Martial Royal Realm, his previous accumulation had almost been exhausted. His future progress would slow down. However, this was enough to make Emojia confident. His cultivation was almost 2 levels higher than Lu Ming's. With every step Emojia took, his aura became stronger. His demonic body was glowing, and there was demonic chi flowing around it. Emojia has a rare medium earth spiritual body, and his cultivation has reached the peak of LV3 Martial Royal Realm. He can easily suppress this kid. Yes, I wonder how many moves this kid can take from Emojia. Some of the youths from the Sky Demon Sect began to discuss. Emojia, you are very confident, but I hope you won't end up like the previous two. Lu Ming smiled faintly. The previous 2 youths were also full of confidence, but in the end, they were defeated miserably. Dark Demon Fist. Emojia suddenly roared. His body moved like lightning, and he pounced on Lu Ming. Then, he threw a punch at Lu Ming. Wherever the fist passed, the void trembled and a terrifying storm was formed. Good. Lu Ming smiled faintly and threw out a punch. Dong. Their fists collided heavily with each other. It was as if 2 giant hammers had collided in the air. Demonic chi surged. When the 2 fists collided, Emojia's face changed. He groaned and his body trembled as he was sent flying far away. What? The other youths from the Sky Demon Sect opened their eyes wide. Emojia had been defeated in a head-on confrontation. Emojia had a medium earth spiritual body, and his body was extremely strong. However, he had been defeated by Lu Ming with a single punch. Could it be that Lu Ming also had a medium earth spiritual body? A medium earth spiritual body was considered a rare spiritual body in the 13 top sects in the Tsang continent. Dark Demon Seal. Emojia retreated 100 meters with a gloomy face. He looked up to the sky and roared. Demonic chi burst out from his body like a raging flame. Everything within 100 meters was covered by demonic chi. A huge palm print formed in the sky. It seemed to cover the sky and the sun as it blasted toward Lu Ming. It was terrifyingly powerful. Emojia's battle prowess was indeed very strong. He was much stronger than the 3rd-layer martial emperor from before. Both the strength of his spiritual body and the use of domain martial techniques were shocking. An ordinary peak 3rd-layer martial king would not be able to withstand a single attack from Emojia. However, Lu Ming's expression remained calm. Whoosh! Lu Ming shot up into the air, surrounded by his primal chaos domain, and unleashed the hell-suppressing heaven art. Lu Ming's body appeared extremely small in front of Emojia's demonic palm. However, when Lu Ming's fist landed on the demonic palm immediately collapsed. Lu Ming stepped through the devilish chi and walked towards Emojia. His cold voice rang out, "Emojia, is this all you've got?" What a disappointment. Impossible, Emojia roared. That move just now was the combination of his spiritual body and domain martial skill. It could be said that he had pushed his combat strength to the peak. However, in front of Lu Ming, it couldn't even withstand a single blow. 9 dragons in the sky. Lu Ming took a step forward and his figure instantly appeared above Emojia's head. He took 9 consecutive steps and 9 dragons roared and danced in the air, flying toward Emojia. Get lost. Emojia roared furiously. His demonic body glowed, and his domain covered his entire body. He threw out a palm, and a palm print blasted on the 9 dragons, sending them flying. However, Lu Ming had already appeared in front of Emojia and threw out a punch. Bang! Emojia was sent flying and vomited blood. His chest was caved in. Defeated. Emojia was defeated. Everyone could see that if Lu Ming had not shown mercy, Emojia would have died. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming's combat strength was too terrifying. Emojia, who had a medium earth spiritual body, was defeated by Lu Ming even though his cultivation was higher. He was easily defeated by Lu Ming. Could it be that Lu Ming had a high earth spiritual body? Many people's hearts trembled as they thought of this possibility. Impossible. Immediately, they shook their heads and their hearts. There were not many high earth spiritual bodies in the entire Tsang state. Every one of them was a genius with unparalleled combat strength. They were invincible figures among the younger generation. How could Lu Ming have a high earth spiritual body? In fact, Lu Ming did not have a high earth spiritual body but a medium earth spiritual body. However, Lu Ming had gone through the world refining Calamity Bell, and there was a trace of chaotic qi in his body. This made Lu Ming's physical body much stronger than others of the same level. Although his current spiritual body was a medium earth spiritual body, its power and strength were comparable to a high earth spiritual body. In addition, Lu Ming had broken through to the second level martial royal realm, and his chaotic domain had broken through to the second level. His combat strength had greatly increased, and he was much stronger than when he was in the Great Emperor Mystic Realm. Although the chaotic domain was difficult to cultivate and it was difficult to improve, the increase in power was terrifying with every breakthrough. Damn it! Emojia roared in his heart as he looked at Lu Ming with a gloomy expression. However, Lu Ming ignored him. He looked around and said, "Who else wants to fight?" The remaining youths of the Sky Universe Demon sect looked at each other with ghastly expressions. Even Emojia had been defeated. Who else could fight him? Emojia had a medium earth spiritual body and his combat strength was strong. It would not be easy for an average 4th level martial royal realm genius with an inferior earth spiritual body to defeat Emojia. However, Lu Ming had defeated him. Therefore, an average 4th level martial royal realm genius with an inferior earth spiritual body would not be able to defeat Lu Ming. Only a 4th level martial royal realm genius with a medium earth spiritual body would be able to defeat him. However, there were not many medium earth spiritual bodies, and none of them were present. Moreover, many of the youth's cultivation had surpassed the 4th level martial royal realm and had reached the 5th or 6th level martial royal realm. If news of him bullying Lu Ming, a 2nd level martial emperor, with such a cultivation level, the younger generation of the Heavenly Universe Demon sect would become a laughing stock. For a moment, no one spoke. "Let me have a go at you." At this moment, a voice was heard. In the distance, a light flashed and a young figure appeared. "Senior Brother Jin Yu." "It's Senior Brother Jin Yu?" "Great. Senior Brother Jin Yu is going to fight. Victory is in our hands. Let's see how arrogant that kid is." Many people of the Sky Universe Demon sect were overjoyed when they saw the young man. "It's him." Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. This young man was the one who had attacked Lu Ming when he had first arrived at the mountain gate of the Sky Universe Demon sect. However, he had been interrupted by Lu Yu. This young man's cultivation was at the peak of the 4th level martial royal realm. Jin Yu looked at Lu Ming coldly and said, "Kid, you escaped before. It's the same for me to deal with you now." His voice was cold and arrogant, as if he was superior. His cultivation was at the peak of the 4th level martial royal realm, and a terrifying pressure pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes, and the true essence in his body circulated wildly to resist Jin Yu's aura. Boom! Chapter 1476. In the face of Jin Yu, Lu Ming had to be cautious and did not dare to be careless. Jin Yu gave Lu Ming a strong pressure. A fourth-level martial emperor could be called a mid-level martial emperor. His combat strength was far beyond that of a third-level martial emperor. Moreover, Jin Yu's spiritual body was definitely not simple. One could tell from the expressions of the other Sky Demon sect disciples. Dark Feather. Jin Yu stretched out a hand and pressed against the void. His domain spread out. The domain that was filled with demonic chi continued to expand and spread toward Lu Ming. The domain was filled with endless demonic chi. There were even feathers that were like swords dancing in the air. Its senior brother Jin used Dark Feather domain. It's said that senior brother Jin Yu's domain has reached the 5th level. Someone exclaimed, "Dark Feather domain, what a wonderful domain!" Lu Ming's eyes lit up. There were thousands of domains in the world, and it was possible to see any domain. Some geniuses comprehended a variety of intents when they were below the Martial Emperor realm. Then, after breaking through to the Martial Emperor realm, they might produce some wonderful domains. For example, some people comprehended wind and fire intents before reaching the Martial Emperor realm. After breaking through to the Martial Emperor realm, they might be able to condense a wind and fire domain, which was more powerful than a single domain. Jin Yu's Dark Feather domain was obviously a hybrid domain. Moreover, it was at the 5th level, which was beyond his cultivation level. Its power was absolutely amazing. Chaotic. Lu Ming's heart moved. He also pressed his palm against the void, and the chaotic domain spread out rapidly. He wanted to use the chaotic domain to fight against Jin Yu's Dark Feather domain. Haha, this kid is really overestimating himself. He actually wants to use his domain to fight against senior brother Jin Yu's domain. Watch, he's about to lose. Senior brother Jin Yu's Dark Feather domain is at the 5th level, and he's only at the 2nd level. He's going to collapse in an instant. He won't be able to hold on for more than a breath. On the side, some youth sneered. Was it possible for a 2nd-level domain to fight against a 5th-level domain? Buzz. The two domains collided, causing the void to tremble. Then, the two domains intertwined and fiercely resisted. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. In the blink of an eye, 10 breaths. Their domains were still entangled with each other, fighting fiercely. Some of the youths from the Sky Universe Devil Sect stiffened. Their eyes widened as they stared at Lu Ming. The 2nd-level domain was actually able to contend against the 5th-level domain of the Demonic Feather. It seemed that it would be hard to determine the winner for a while. How was this possible? What kind of domain was this? Why was it so terrifying? What's so great about a level 5 domain expert? Break. At this time, Lu Ming suddenly said coldly and pressed down with one hand again. Wong. The primal chaos domain trembled, becoming millions and millions of June heavy, suppressing everything. Boom. Jin Yu's expression changed drastically. His demonic feather domain collapsed with a bang. His body trembled, and he involuntarily retreated 3 steps. The others were dumbfounded. Jin Yu's face was extremely gloomy. In a clash of domains, he had actually lost. He was no match for Lu Ming. His 5th-level domain was actually no match for Lu Ming's 2nd-level domain. This made him want to kill Jin Yu. Originally, he wanted to perform well in front of Xian Yinqing and easily trample on Lu Ming. He wanted to show Xian Yinqing how weak Lu Ming was. He wanted to show Xian Yinqing that he was a true genius. But now, his 5th-level domain was no match for Lu Ming's 2nd-level domain. It could be said that he had lost face. Boom. Demonic chi surged from Jin Yu's body, and a terrifying demonic true origin spread out from his body. Kid. A domain is only one of the martial artist's combat strength. It does not represent all of their combat strength. Now, I will show you what true combat strength is. Jin Yu shouted. His spiritual body shone, and demonic chi surged. A demonic saber flew out from between Jin Yu's eyebrows, and he held it in his hand. Ridiculous. A domain does not represent all of one's combat strength. If you have the ability, suppress your cultivation to LV2 Martial Royal Realm, and I will defeat you in one move. Lu Ming's voice was filled with mockery. Jin Yu had wanted to use his domain to suppress Lu Ming. After his domain was no match for Lu Ming, he said that a domain did not represent all of one's combat strength. How ridiculous was that? Humph. Jin Yu snorted and his face turned even colder. The demonic saber in his hand slashed down. A saber gleam pierced through the sky. It was unknown how long it was, but it slashed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming circulated his true origin to the maximum and his muscles bulged. Strands of chaotic chi flowed through his muscles, increasing the strength of his spiritual body. Roar. A dragon's roar came from Lu Ming's body. Then, Lu Ming rushed up and the chaotic domain exploded as he threw out a punch. Boom. This punch landed on Jin Yu's saber gleam. There was an earth-shattering boom. Lu Ming's body shook violently and the chaotic domain shook violently. His body was sent flying with a swoosh. So strong. Lu Ming retreated 1,000 meters away and felt a burning pain on his fist. At the same time, the blood in his body was boiling. Jin Yu's spiritual body was definitely a medium earth spiritual body like Emogia. His cultivation was at the peak of the 4th layer martial royal realm, and his combat strength was shocking. For geniuses like Jin Yu, he could easily kill cultivators of the 5th layer of the martial emperor realm, or even stronger. Haha, that kid is no match for him. Many people laughed. Finally, Lu Ming was no match for Jin Yu. They let out a long breath and felt relieved. They had been suppressed by Lu Ming before, and they had been too sullen. Lu Ming. Behind them, Xian Yinqing revealed a worried expression. 1,000 cracked demonic saber. Jin Yu pushed Lu Ming back with one strike. Seizing the opportunity, the demonic saber slashed toward Lu Ming once again. The energy of the air-frozen bead flowed into Lu Ming's body, and he used the wind origin technique. His body flashed, and he dodged Jin Yu's saber light without leaving a trace. Jin Yu frowned and slashed his saber again. This time, there were 3 saber lights that blocked Lu Ming's 3 escape routes. However, Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast. Those with weaker cultivation could barely see Lu Ming's shadow. He dodged the 3 saber lights one by one. Slash, slash. Jin Yu roared. This time, he slashed out 7 rays of saber light in a single breath. Unfortunately, it was useless as Lu Ming dodged them one by one. Damn it, kid. What's the point of dodging? If you have the ability, fight senior brother Jin Yu head-on. That's right, you only know how to dodge. What's the point? Some of the young men shouted unhappily. Ridiculous. When did you hear that a martial artist's movement is not a part of his combat strength? Lu Ming sneered. Those people's faces turned red. Indeed, movement was an important part of one's combat strength. Attack, movement, and defense were all part of one's strength. What was the use of brute force if you couldn't hit your opponent? You can't escape. Chapter 1477. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Lu Ming's body flickered as he dodged the blade radiance. He then rushed towards Jin Yu. Good timing. There was a cold, murderous intent in Jin Yu's eyes. The demonic feather realm spread out. In the realm, there were saber gleams slashing toward Lu Ming. Seal. Lu Ming suddenly spat out a word. Buzz. 5 light doors suddenly appeared above Jin Yu's head. The 5 sealed doors emitted a dazzling light as they pressed down on Jin Yu. At this moment, Jin Yu's movements stiffened as he was shrouded by the sealed doors' sealing power. He was greatly affected. Break for me. Jin Yu roared as blade radiance pierced through the air. 5 blade radiance slashed towards the 5 sealed doors. The 5 sealed doors vibrated violently. Boom, 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 boom. Following that, the 5 sealed gates exploded with a loud bang. However, this momentary seal was enough for Lu Ming. Divine sword art. Lu Ming appeared near Jin Yu. 2 beams of black light shot out from his eyes. They were like 2 divine swords, piercing toward Jin Yu. This was a soul attack and Jin Yu's realm could not withstand it. The black divine swords pierced through the realm at an astonishing speed and entered Jin Yu's body. They went straight for his spiritual spirit. Boom. At this moment, Jin Yu felt a tearing pain in his soul. His spiritual spirit shook violently and his aura weakened. At this moment, Lu Ming unleashed his full strength. His third bloodline appeared, and a wisp of energy entered Lu Ming's body. He then punched out. This punch was Lu Ming's strongest attack apart from the chaotic flipping sky seal. The punch directly pierced through Jin Yu's realm and headed towards Jin Yu. Get lost. Jin Yu roared as he endured the pain in his soul and unleashed his full strength. However, how much strength could he unleash in such a short time? Boom. Lu Ming's fist force crushed Jin Yu's power like crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Jin Yu's entire body shook violently as he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was like a cannonball as he was sent flying by Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming stomped heavily in the air. His figure was like lightning as he caught up with Jin Yu and punched out again. Jin Yu screamed miserably. His entire body was smashed into the ground, heavily smashing into a towering devil mountain. Rubble flew everywhere as Jin Yu's entire body sank into the devil mountain. How could this be? The other disciples of the Sky Universe Demon Sect were dumbfounded. Earlier, it was clearly Jin Yu who had the upper hand all along. Why was it that in a blink of an eye, Jin Yu was defeated by Lu Ming with a crushing momentum? Some people didn't even see how Jin Yu was defeated. Just now, Lu Ming had suddenly counterattacked, using the Divine Gate 9 seals, and then used the Divine Sword Arts to attack Jin Yu's soul, causing Jin Yu to reveal an opening. Then, he exploded with his full strength and heavily injured Jin Yu. All of this happened too quickly, in the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint. Brat, what kind of despicable means did you use to injure senior brother Jin Yu? That's right, he must have used some despicable means. Otherwise, senior brother Jin Yu clearly had the upper hand. How could he be defeated so quickly? You're shameless. A few youths glared at Lu Ming and berated him. Shut up. A cold shout rang out as Xian Yinqing stepped forward. His face was as cold as frost as his gaze swept across the disciples of the Sky Universe Demon Sect. He berated, as a disciple of the Sky Universe Demon Sect, you were defeated when your cultivation was 2 levels higher. Instead of reflecting on your own shortcomings, you only know how to slander others. Don't you feel ashamed? But one of the youths wanted to refute. What just now? In the previous battle, anyone with a discerning eye could see that Jin Yu had used a martial emperor's spiritual weapon, while Lu Ming was still barehanded. He did not even use a martial emperor's spiritual weapon. He won by relying on his own strength. How could he have used any despicable means? If he really did use some despicable means, there are so many people here, including a senior brother who is a high-level martial emperor. How could he hide it from them? Xian Yinqing berated once again. Some of the youths in the crowd with unfathomable cultivations wore unpleasant looks on their faces. They knew that Xian Yinqing was right. Lu Ming had won by relying on a secret technique and his own strength. The youths blushed and did not dare to say anything. Is there anyone else who wants to challenge me? 4th layer Martial Dominator Realm and below are welcome to challenge me. Lu Ming said. The disciples of the Sky Universe Demon Sect wore gloomy expressions. Who else could fight? Even Jin Yu had been defeated. Jin Yu was definitely an undefeatable figure among the 4th layer martial emperors. Not many people could defeat him. If even he had been defeated, the others would only be humiliating themselves. The crowd exchanged glances with one another, but no one dared to step forward. I thought the disciples of the Yuanlu sect would be strong, but in the end, they couldn't even defeat me, someone from the desolated island. How disappointing. Lu Ming shook his head and let out a sigh. Ah, damn it. Many of the youths of the Sky Universe Demon Sect clenched their fists and gritted their teeth. Lu Ming's words were like slaps to their faces. Previously, they had called Lu Ming an ant from the desolated island. How could he be compared to them? They had belittled Lu Ming and placed themselves in a superior position, saying that Lu Ming was not worthy of Xian Yinqing. Only geniuses like them were worthy of Xian Yinqing. But now, they had sent geniuses who were 2 layers higher than Lu Ming, but they were still no match for Lu Ming. If Lu Ming was an ant from the desolated island, then what were they? Their faces were burning, as if there were flames burning on them. I almost forgot. I have something to do. I'll leave first. A young man suddenly spoke and turned around to leave. Ah, I have something to do too. Me too. My master is looking for me. Then, one by one, the young men quickly left. They were too ashamed to stay there, especially in front of Xian Yanqing. Kid, the Sky Universe Demon Sect has a stronger genius. He's just training outside. Let's fight next time. A few of the most unwilling youths spat out hatefully before slipping away. Even Jin Yu was carried away by others. In the blink of an eye, everyone had left. Lu Ming, I'm sorry. Xian Yanqing stepped forward and held Lu Ming's hand. What's there to be sorry about? You're my woman. These toads want to eat swan meat. I'll beat them up one by one. Lu Ming smiled. Xian Yanqing's little face blushed slightly as a happy smile appeared on her face. Buzz. Right at this moment, ripples suddenly appeared in the space nearby, and a figure abruptly appeared there. It was a middle-aged beauty in a black magic robe. She had an indescribable aura. Master! Xian Yanqing exclaimed when he saw the middle-aged beauty. Chapter 1478. The sect master of the Sky Universe Demon Sect was definitely an overlord in the Tsang Prefecture. He was someone who could shake the entire Tsang Prefecture with a stomp of his foot. He was someone who was on par with the Valley Master of the Dragon God Valley. Lu Ming stepped forward and cupped his fists. Junior Lu Ming greets Senior. The sect master of the Sky Universe Demon Sect revealed a faint smile and said, Little guy, you're quite strong. You actually managed to cultivate the chaotic domain. That's rare. Thank you, Senior, for your compliment. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, The sect master of the Sky Universe Demon Sect nodded and looked at Xian Yanqing with a doting look. Young people, I won't object to you dating each other. The Sky Universe Demon Sect master's tone suddenly changed as he said, However, all of you are still in the golden age of cultivation. You should prioritize your cultivation. Although all of your talents are not bad, your cultivation is too low. In the vast Yuan land, it's nothing. Without cultivation, you won't be able to truly possess freedom. Little guy, do you understand? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he said, Junior understands. Also, Yanqing has the innate demon body. She's peerless, but because of that, there are many people who covet her. With your current cultivation, you're too weak. Can you protect Yanqing? The sect master of the Sky Universe Demon Sect continued. Lu Ming frowned slightly. The sect master of the Sky Universe Demon Sect's meaning was obvious. His cultivation was too weak. Master, Lu Ming and I have been through life and death situations together. I believe that Lu Ming will definitely rise. He won't let others hurt me, Xian Yanqing said. Silly boy, you're too naive. How can the divine wilderness continent be compared to the Yuan continent? The sect master of the Sky Universe Demon Sect said. But, Master, Xian Yanqing wanted to say more. Yanqing. Lu Ming interrupted Xian Yanqing and said, Yanqing, Senior is right. The Yuan continent is countless times larger than the divine wilderness continent. My cultivation level is indeed too low in the Yuan continent, so I can't give you too much of a guarantee. However, I will definitely work hard to cultivate. When I reach the clouds one day, I will truly be free and unfettered in the world. So, Yanqing, you should cultivate well in the Sky Universe Demon Sect. In the future, I'll travel the world with you. This was what Lu Ming truly felt. Ever since he had come to the Yuan continent, Lu Ming had realized how insignificant he was. In the divine desolate continent, a martial emperor was a high and mighty overlord. However, in the Yuan continent, martial emperors were the most common existence. They could even be said to be ants. True experts were as common as clouds in the Yuan continent. Lu Ming had even seen a true great emperor before. That was truly terrifying. Only by reaching the pinnacle of the world could one truly be free and unfettered in the world, and not be controlled by others. At this moment, Lu Ming was filled with heroic spirit. His goal wasn't the sage realm, or even the great emperor realm, but the pinnacle of the world. An indescribable confidence flowed out from Lu Ming's body. What an arrogant young man. I'll wait for the day when you reach the clouds. Go. The Sky Universe Demon Sect Master waved his hand and said, Master, I'd like to send Lu Ming off. Xian Yanqing said, All right. The Sky Universe Demon Sect Master nodded and took a step forward, disappearing from sight. Lu Ming. Xian Yinqing looked at Lu Ming with a trace of reluctance in her eyes. Silly girl, I'm here to see you. After seeing you, I'm going to leave. I can't possibly stay in the Sky Universe Demon Sect forever. Lu Ming held Xian Yinqing's hand and laughed. Moreover, the Sky Universe Demon Sect isn't far from the Divine Dragon Valley. If I have time, I'll come and see you again. Lu Ming continued. Xian Yinqing nodded gently and held Lu Ming's hand as they walked out of the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Very soon, they were out of the Heavenly Universe Demon Sect. Xian Yinqing was still reluctant to part with Lu Ming. She wanted to send Lu Ming for a while longer. Just like that, the two of them strolled in the air at a steady pace. Just like that, half a day passed. Xiaoqing, you should go back. If you continue to send me off, we'll reach the Divine Dragon Valley. Lu Ming said with a smile. Lu Ming, don't blame Master. Xian Yinqing said softly, but before she could finish her words, Lu Ming had already pressed his lips against hers. The two of them hugged each other tightly as if they were about to fuse together. After more than 10 minutes, the two of them finally separated. You don't have to say anything. I know that you have to trust me. I'll definitely dominate this world in the future. When that time comes, no one will stop us. Lu Ming smiled and took out a black bracelet for Xian Yinqing to wear. It was the bracelet that Lu Ming had obtained from the great emperor's mystic realm. A sacred weapon? Xian Yinqing muttered as her eyes reddened. Silly girl, go back. I'm leaving. Lu Ming kissed Xian Yinqing's forehead and turned to leave. Lu Ming, I'll also work hard on my cultivation. When you're at the peak, I'll accompany you. A faint voice could be heard as Xian Yinqing turned around and headed back to the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Swoosh. Lu Ming extended his body and broke through the void, allowing the wind to blow on his face. I'll definitely dominate the world in the future. Lu Ming roared, his voice echoing for thousands of miles. It would be a lie to say that he felt comfortable during his trip to the Sky Universe Demon Sect. Forget about the younger generation. In the end, even Xian Yinqing's master had appeared. Although his words were not sharp, his attitude was obvious. Lu Ming was too weak and was not worthy of Xian Yinqing. He had to stay away from Xian Yinqing as much as possible. This was the Sky Universe Demon Sect's master's intention. Before coming to Yuanlu, Lu Ming had not expected that Xian Yinqing would be chosen by the Sky Universe Demon Sect's master and be accepted as a pro-disciple. She had even become the saintess of the Sky Universe Demon Sect. As a result, there were some disturbances between them. Lu Ming held back his anger. However, he also knew that the Sky Universe Demon Sect's master was right. His cultivation was still too weak. Now that he was with Xian Yinqing, he couldn't be free and unfettered. If a martial emperor at the peak of the martial king realm coveted Xian Yinqing, what could he do? Strength. Everything still depended on strength. He needed to be strong. Ever since he had established the Dragon Alliance, dominated the Divine Wilderness continent, and killed Di, Lu Ming had relaxed a little. Although his pursuit of the martial Dao had not changed, he did not feel as pressured as before. Without pressure, he lacked the courage to move forward. Now, there was another strong pressure coming from his body. Whoosh! Lu Ming cut through the void and moved forward rapidly. He passed by the vast land in a flash, heading in the direction of the Divine Dragon Valley. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart tightened. He felt a strong sense of danger. Without hesitation, black wings appeared on Lu Ming's back and wrapped around Lu Ming. Whoosh! In the sky, a demonic saber seemed to break through the heavens and earth as it slashed toward Lu Ming. Clang! The demonic saber slashed the black wings. Lu Ming felt as if he had been hit by a mountain and was sent flying. After flying for tens of thousands of meters, Lu Ming stabilized his body and spat out a mouthful of blood. Sky Universe Demon Sect. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning. Chapter 1479. 6 figures with terrifying auras intertwined with one another, sealing off Lu Ming's escape route. 5 7th-layer martial dominators and 1 6th-layer martial dominator. Lu Ming's eyes widened. One of them was a young man with long hair and a demonic saber on his back. He looked like a young demon god with a ferocious aura. He was a sixth-layer martial dominator. As for the other five, their appearances could not be seen clearly as they were covered in a pitch-black demonic glow. Their terrifying auras soared into the sky. These 5 people were all 7th-layer martial dominators. The Empyrean demon sect really thinks highly of me. Lu Ming stared at the young man with sharp eyes. That saber strike just now was from this young man. He was a terrifying genius. You think you can leave after injuring a genius of the Empyrean demon sect and blaspheming our saintess? You're too naive. The young man spoke with a cold, murderous intent. Hee, the Empyrean demon sect is one of the top 13 factions in the Tsang continent. Is this all you've got? You're sending experts to hunt me down because you can't defeat your peers? Lu Ming let out a hollow laugh. Since you're dead, no one will know about this. The young man's face remained cold and calm. He took a step forward toward Lu Ming. Each step he took caused a powerful pressure to press down on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly. His mind was spinning rapidly as he thought of a way to escape. Lu Ming, I'll give you a chance. Give me your cultivation technique, and I might spare your life. The young man spoke with a hint of greed in his eyes. He had witnessed the battle between Lu Ming and Jin Yu at the Empyrean Demon Sect. Lu Ming had defeated Jin Yu's 5th-grade domain with a 2nd-grade domain. He was curious about Lu Ming's cultivation technique to have such a terrifying domain. Oh? You want my cultivation method? Sure, but tell me one question. Who sent you here? Lu Ming asked. The young man's eyes flashed. Then, he sneered. I'm the one who wants to kill you. All right, speak. Kill. At this time, Lu Ming suddenly roared and charged at the youth. His black wings flapped, bringing with them a gust of wind that swept towards the youth. His 2 wings were like 2 heavenly blades that slashed at the youth. You're courting death, the young man said coldly. The demonic saber on his back did not leave its scabbard. Instead, he used his palm as a saber and slashed out. A shocking demonic blade appeared and slashed forward. Dong! The demonic saber slashed at the black wings, causing them to vibrate violently. Lu Ming's body retreated like a cannonball. His blood and qi were in turmoil, and fresh blood flowed out of his mouth. Without a doubt, this young man was a top-notch heaven's favorite with shocking battling capabilities. Although his cultivation was only at the 6th-layer martial dominator realm, his strength could easily kill a 7th-layer martial dominator, or even an 8th-layer martial dominator. Lu Ming was no match for him. Don't attack. Seal off the area. I'll kill him, said the young man coldly. He stepped forward and closed in on Lu Ming. Whoosh! The young man lashed out with his palm, causing a terrifying demonic saber to slash at Lu Ming. Lu Ming's glabella shone and a shield appeared. It became extremely large and blocked in front of him. Clang! The demonic saber slashed at the shield, causing it to vibrate violently. The shield and Lu Ming were both sent flying by the impact. Sacred weapon, another sacred weapon. You have quite a lot of treasures on you. Unfortunately, you're a piece of trash. What a waste of treasures. I'll keep them for you in the future. Remember, the one who killed you is a Mohi from the demon sect. The greed in the young man's eyes grew stronger as his aura grew stronger. He waved his hand, causing the demonic saber to appear on his back. A terrifying saber glow stirred the wind. Attack! Lu Ming suddenly let out a roar. He flapped his wings and charged at Emohi like a black bolt of lightning. Emohi's eyes turned cold. He was about to slash out with his saber when a transparent bubble suddenly appeared and enveloped him. His body was frozen in place. 9 seals of the divine gate. Lu Ming let out a low roar. 5 sealed doors appeared around Emohi and pressed down on him. Break for me! Emohi roared as his demonic aura erupted. The demonic saber transformed into a shocking saber glow that bombarded the transparent bubble. The transparent bubble rumbled and shook violently. It only lasted for a breath of time before it shattered. As the transparent bubble shattered, the 5 sealed doors pressed down on Emohi. Slash! Emohi struggled with all his might. The saber glow tore through the air, and the 5 sealed doors were broken one by one. However, Lu Ming had already appeared not far from Emohi. Divine sword art. Lu Ming shot out two rays of black light from his eyes. They were like two divine swords that shot into Emohi's body and into his spiritual spirit. Emohi's spiritual spirit trembled, and his aura became unstable. Primal chaos flipping sky seal. Lu Ming roared. In the sky, a huge primal chaos seal pressed down on Emohi like an ancient divine mountain, bringing with it terrifying waves of chi. Even Emohi's pupils shrank. He couldn't ignore this power. Break! Emohi roared. His entire body seemed to have turned into a demonic saber that soared into the sky. Boom! The primal chaos flipping sky seal collided heavily with the demonic saber, creating a shocking boom. At this moment, time seemed to have frozen. Watch me! Dandan shouted as she flew out. She flew above the primal chaos flipping sky seal and her body grew rapidly. Dense inscriptions appeared on her body. Her entire body seemed to have turned into a tortoise-shaped mountain that stepped heavily on the primal chaos flipping sky seal. Boom! The weight of the primal chaos flipping sky seal instantly increased. The saber glow that Emohi had turned into shattered. The primal chaos flipping sky seal continued to press down on Emohi. Emohi roared as he raised his palms and struck the primal chaos flipping sky seal. Boom! The primal chaos flipping sky seal was penetrated, but Emohi's body also fell like a meteorite because of this force. As Mohertz descended, there was a gap in the encirclement that they had formed around Lu Ming. Chirp, chirp. Bubbles chirped as a space-time passage appeared. Lu Ming rushed into the void passage with Dandan and Bubbles and appeared thousands of miles away. Then, he flapped his black wings and flew forward rapidly. Swoosh! Emohi soared into the sky again. His eyes were filled with shocking flames as he roared furiously, chase after him. Swoosh! 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 Emohi and the other 5 LV7 Martial Royal Realm experts turned into 6 beams of demonic light and chased after Lu Ming. Lu Ming took out a pile of primordial stones and swallowed them to recover his true essence. At the same time, he increased his speed to the maximum and flew away quickly. He knew that the blow just now could not do anything to Emohi at all. Emohi's combat strength was too strong. Just now, it was because Emohi had underestimated his opponent that Lu Ming had taken him by surprise. He had used Dandan and Bubbles to launch a series of attacks. In the end, he had used the primal chaos flipping sky seal, Dandan's power, and the divine sword art to send Emohi flying. However, he should not be able to hurt Emohi. Chapter 1480. 7 streaks of black light streaked across the sky like 7 bolts of lightning. Although Lu Ming had the black wings and the air-frozen bead, he was at a disadvantage because his cultivation was too low. Emohi and the other 5 7th level Martial Royal Realm experts unleashed their true chi and chased after Lu Ming relentlessly. Soon, they had flown a long distance, but the distance between the two sides did not increase, nor did they get closer. Bubble! Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Bubble. The bubble buzzed and opened up a space-time passageway. Lu Ming flew in and appeared thousands of miles away the next moment, widening the distance between them. Damn it! You want to run? It's not that easy. Emohi roared and waved his hand, and a treasure flew out. It was a space-breaking shuttle. As soon as it flew out, it grew in the wind and soon became hundreds of meters long. Get on! Emohi shouted. The other 5 7th level Martial Royal Realm experts flew onto the space-breaking shuttle. Whoosh! The space-breaking shuttle shone and flew out at an astonishing speed. It was much faster than their flying speed and was quickly approaching Lu Ming. Oh no! Lu Ming's expression changed. The space-breaking shuttle was too fast. It was a tool used by the martial arts experts of the Yuan land to travel. Lu Ming's face was gloomy. He flew with all his strength, but the space-breaking shuttle behind him was still closing in. After a while, Lu Ming had to ask Bubble to open a space-time passage again to increase the distance between the two sides. Boy, let's see how long you can run. In the space-breaking shuttle, Emohi's eyes were cold. Just like that, half a day passed. This can't go on. Lu Ming frowned. If this continued, Bubble would not be able to take it and would run out of energy. When that time came, he would not have a second chance to escape. A large river appeared in front of them. The strange thing was that the water of the river was as black as ink. It was extremely strange. On the other side of the river was a black world. Black soil, black rocks, and even black flowers and trees. Separated by a river, it was like two different worlds. It was extremely strange. However, Lu Ming was only taken aback for a moment. He did not stop at all and simply flew over. He flew over the river and flew toward the strange black world. Whoosh! Not long after Lu Ming flew over the river, the space-breaking shuttle appeared, but it did not continue flying. Instead, it stopped in front of the river. He and the other 5 7th level Martial Royal Realm experts flew out of the space-breaking shuttle. He put the shuttle away. This boy escaped into the Death Wasteland, the first of the 6 forbidden lands. Mo frowned as he looked at the world on the other side of the river, fear and dread in his eyes. The other 5 of the Royal Realm of the Forbidden of the Royal Realm. Of the 6 of the Forbidden of the Forbidden of the Forbidden Land Wasteland. As for the Wasteland of Death, it was even more terrifying. It was the leader of the 6 great forbidden grounds. No one knew when it came into existence, only that it had existed for a very long time. Legend had it that a great emperor had entered the Wasteland of Death a very long time ago, but had eventually retreated in fear. Of the Ming was of danger. Young Master Mohi, what should we do now? A black-robed man asked. Go after him and kill him. If he's alive, I want to see him. If he's dead, I want to see his corpse. Mohi said coldly. He was full of confidence. He had brought 5 7th level Martial Royal Realm experts to kill Lu Ming. It was supposed to be a foolproof plan. With Lu Ming's cultivation, it was impossible for him to escape. However, Lu Ming had escaped. Moreover, he had escaped from his hands. How was he going to account for this when he returned? Therefore, he hated Lu Ming to the core. He had to kill Lu Ming. Go after him? The faces of the 5 7th layer Martial Dominator Realm experts turned incredibly unpleasant. Yes, and it's you guys. Hurry up, or I won't be able to see that kid anymore. You guys should know who gave the order this time. If that kid escapes, I'll be fine when I get back, but you guys should know the consequences. He said coldly. The faces of the 5 7th layer Martial Royal Realm experts darkened. They exchanged glances with one another, before clenching their teeth and turning into 5 demonic rays. They dashed across the river and chased after Lu Ming. Kid, you're just an ant. You should listen to fate and be an ant, but you insisted on coming to the heavenly demonic sect. You're just a toad trying to eat swan meat. I have no choice but to make you disappear. He glanced at the dark world and said coldly. Lu Ming continued to fly at a rapid pace after crossing the river. The terrain below was extremely complicated, filled with potholes and jagged rocks of strange shapes. Furthermore, these rocks were all black in color. Giant ancient trees grew on the ground. However, these ancient trees were completely black. Their trunks and branches were twisted together, resulting in an eerie sight. Furthermore, the further they flew, the larger and taller the trees became. Black ancient trees over a few hundred meters tall could be seen everywhere. At that instant, Lu Ming discovered 5 people chasing after him. These fellows really won't leave me alone. Lu Ming's eyes flickered coldly. In the blink of an eye, they had covered a distance of over 10,000 li. However, they were still in the dark world, which seemed to be boundless. All of a sudden, Lu Ming felt a huge shadow looming over him, causing him to raise his head. With a glimpse, Lu Ming's eyes widened. High up in the sky, an incomparably huge bird had appeared out of nowhere. The giant bird had a strange appearance. It had 2 heads and a pitch-black body. Its eyes were red like burning flames. Most importantly, it was too huge. When it spread its wings, it covered the entire sky like a stormy cloud, shrouding Lu Ming and the 5 7th layer Martial Royal Realm experts in its shadow. Squawk! The giant eagle uttered a cry all of a sudden. A shocking force burst out from its mouth, encapsulating one of the 7th layer Martial Royal Realm experts. No! The 7th layer Martial Dominator Realm expert, let out a terrified cry as he lost control of his body and flew toward the giant bird's mouth. Following this, he was swallowed by the giant bird like an ant. Lu Ming was astounded. A seventh-layer martial royal realm expert had no chance against the giant bird, who had been devoured instantly. The giant bird's strength was utterly terrifying. Squawk! The giant bird uttered a cry and scanned Lu Ming and the remaining 4 seventh-layer martial royal realm experts with its sharp gaze. Shit! Lu Ming was startled as he immediately dove into the ground. The ground was covered with ancient black trees, which were able to block the giant bird's sight, allowing them to escape. At the same time, the 4 seventh-level martial emperors also swooped down and dashed into the ancient black tree behind Lu Ming. As expected, as soon as they dove into the ground, the giant bird uttered a cry and scanned its surroundings. It did not continue its attack, but soared into the sky instead. These guys really don't want to give up. Lu Ming realized that the 4 seventh-level martial emperors behind him were still chasing after him. They were running at high speed in the Black Forest. Bang! Chapter 1481. They did not dare to fly in the sky due to the terrifying presence of the giant bird. They could only run on the ground. The ground here was also extremely strange. It was full of potholes, as if it had been corroded by something. It was extremely strange. Those black ancient trees were rooted in this kind of ground. Behind them, the remaining 4 seventh-layer martial dominator realm experts continued to chase after Lu Ming at a shocking pace. Lu Ming had no choice but to flee. With his current strength, he had no chance of winning against a 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert. He might even be killed, let alone 4 7th-layer martial dominators. A cry of agony could be heard behind him all of a sudden. Lu Ming subconsciously turned around and saw a 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert stepping on a pile of black mud. The mud immediately emitted a black gas. The expert let out a cry of agony as he was struck by the black gas. Following this, under the astounded gaze of the others, his body was corroded and turned into a pile of mud. Oh my God! What the hell is this place? Lu Ming yelled in his heart as his face was covered in a cold sweat. A 7th-layer martial dominator realm expert had died after stepping on a pile of black mud. Lu Ming had also stepped on the same pile of mud. Luckily, he had not stepped on it. This place was full of danger. The remaining 3 7th-layer martial dominators wore terrified expressions, but they continued to chase after Lu Ming. There's something wrong with these people. Why are they so desperate and unwilling to give up chasing after me? Lu Ming was confused. If he was jealous of Xian Yinqing and wanted to get rid of him, there was no need for him to be so desperate. He should have stopped long ago in such a dangerous place. Could it be that they were ordered to chase after him by some authority of the heavenly demonic sect? Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Not long after, they had covered a distance of over 1,000 li. The terrain ahead of them became more complicated, with many mountains and valleys. Rumble. Suddenly, a loud explosion could be heard coming from a huge valley. Then, Lu Ming saw a group of majestic black bulls rush out of the canyon and charge towards them. These black bulls had majestic physiques. Most of them were 3 meters tall and 5 meters long. Their bodies were pitch black, as if they were made of iron. Their eyes were blood red, similar to the giant eagle from before. Among them, there were some who were even larger. They were 4 meters tall, or even 5 meters tall. Moo! Moo! As soon as these black bulls appeared, they roared loudly and spread out, charging towards Lu Ming and the others. Moo! A 3-meter-tall black bull appeared on the right side of Lu Ming. Its 2 horns were like 2 blades as it charged towards Lu Ming. Scram! Lu Ming's body swayed, avoiding the black bull's charge, and punched out. Bang! The punch landed on the black bull's body and sent it flying. The black bull's strength was equivalent to a first-layer martial dominator realm cultivator. It had no chance of stopping Lu Ming. It was sent flying a few hundred meters by Lu Ming's punch and slammed into the wall of a mountain. Gravel flew everywhere. Then, the black bull shook its head and stood up again. So tough. Lu Ming was shocked. Although he had not used his full strength, An ordinary first-layer martial dominator would have died after being hit by the punch. However, this black bull seemed to be perfectly fine. Moo! Moo! After Lu Ming sent the first black bull flying, two more black bulls charged forward. The strength of these two black bulls was even more shocking. They had both reached the second-layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming threw out two consecutive punches, sending the two black bulls flying. However, similar to the previous one, they only shook their heads and stood up as if nothing had happened. Their bones were as tough as steel. Furthermore, there were more black bulls charging out from the valley. At a glance, there were at least 1,000 of them, but there were still more coming out. The weakest among these black bulls was at the first-layer martial dominator realm. The stronger ones were at the second-layer and third-layer martial dominator realm. Lu Ming even saw a sixth-layer martial dominator realm cultivator. Rumble. The black bulls stomped on the ground, causing the ground to tremble as if there was an earthquake. Kill. Piss off. The three experts of the Empyrean demon sect were also fighting against the black bulls. A black saber glow exploded, sending the black bulls flying. The weakest ones finally had their defenses broken and were slashed in half, causing black blood to flow out. Moo! Moo! The black bulls became even more furious, as if they were stimulated by the blood. Most of them charged toward the three experts of the Empyrean demon sect. Some of them were at the sixth-layer martial dominator realm. The three experts of the Empyrean demon sect joined forces and slowly approached Lu Ming. Bang! Lu Ming was also surrounded by a group of black bulls. The strongest one among them was at the fifth-layer martial dominator realm. Bang! Lu Ming lashed out a punch at the head of the fifth-layer martial dominator realm black bull. His body shuddered as he was knocked a few steps backward, feeling his fist going numb. Such a shocking strength. Each of these black bulls possessed a shocking strength. Let's go. Lu Ming executed the wind element technique and tapped on the head of one of the black bulls, causing his figure to dash forward. However, the black bulls did not give up and continued to chase after Lu Ming. Some of the black bulls even shot out beams of black light toward Lu Ming from their horns. Lu Ming spread his black wings and blocked the black rays from his back. Moo! At that instant, a shocking roar could be heard coming from a valley, causing the ground to tremble as a giant bull with a shocking physique charged out. This black bull was at least 10 meters tall and more than 10 meters long. It was like a small hill, exuding an incomparably shocking aura. Moo! The black bull charged toward the three experts of the Empyrean demon sect as soon as it came out. The three experts of the Empyrean demon sect were powerful and filled with demonic chi. Naturally, they were more attractive than Lu Ming. Bang! The giant black bull kicked the ground and instantly covered a distance of a few thousand meters. It was like a small hill as it charged toward one of the experts. Oh no! The expert's expression changed drastically as he slashed at the giant black bull with a shocking demonic saber. However, the giant black bull did not seem to see it and charged forward. The demonic saber shattered, and the giant black bull crashed into the expert of the Empyrean demon sect. The expert screamed as he was sent flying. He crashed into dozens of ancient black trees and lost all signs of life. He had been killed by the collision. The strength of this black bull was shocking. The other two experts fled in all directions in fear. Moo! The giant black bull roared and the horns on its head lit up. Two rays of black light flew out like two demonic sabers and slashed at the two experts of the Empyrean demon sect. The two experts used their demonic sabers to block, but they both groaned and were sent flying. Blood spurted from their mouths as they were drowned by the black bulls. Only a few demonic sabers could be seen flashing before they became weaker and weaker. At that moment, the giant black bull looked at Lu Ming and roared as it charged toward Lu Ming. Nestle. Chapter 1482. Seeing that Lu Ming had escaped, the giant black bull roared and chased after Lu Ming. Lu Ming cast his movement technique and continued moving forward. After some time, Lu Ming realized that there were fewer and fewer black ancient trees in the area. However, there were wisps of black mist floating between the heavens and the earth. Sizzle. His protective true origin was sizzling. The black mist was corroding his true origin. Lu Ming hurriedly used the chaotic domain to cover his body and block the black mist around him. However, the black mist was extremely shocking. When it stuck to the chaotic domain, even the chaotic domain was sizzling. What was even more shocking was that even the black feather wings were the same. When the black feather wings were adhered to by the black mist, it also emitted a corroding sound. It could even corrode the chaotic domain and sacred weapons. Lu Ming's face turned ugly, and he stopped. It was too dangerous to continue forward. It's actually this aura? On his shoulder, Dandan looked grave and bewildered. Dandan, this aura? What does it mean? Lu Ming asked. It's not from this world, Dandan said vaguely. Not from this world? Could it be from the heaven world? Lu Ming asked. No. Dandan shook his head and looked up into the distance without saying anything else. Rumble. Behind them, the earth rumbled and a giant black bull the size of a small hill appeared. Nestle, it's coming again. Do you have to do this? Lu Ming was really speechless. The 5 experts of the Sky Universe Demon sect had died, but now, this giant black bull was relentlessly chasing after them. This giant was too powerful. It could easily kill a 7th-level Martial Royal Realm expert. Similarly, it could easily kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming could only brace himself and continue forward. The further he went, the thicker the black mist became. His primal chaos domain and black wings kept sizzling. After the giant black bull chased for a while, it suddenly stopped, as if it was afraid. It let out a few cries, turned around and ran away, disappearing from sight. That bull finally left. What's going on? It seems to be very scared. Lu Ming mumbled. Nonsense, of course he's scared. Kid, run quickly, go forward. Dandan shouted. Hiss, hiss, hiss. At this moment, hissing sounds came from both sides. Then, Lu Ming saw 2 disgusting pythons crawling over. On the left and right sides, there was a giant python. These giant pythons had 3 heads, and their bodies were over 100 meters in diameter. They were incomparably huge. What was even more shocking was that his body was in tatters, with black liquid constantly flowing out. It was extremely horrifying. Lu Ming had never seen or heard of these giant pythons before. They were emitting an extremely evil aura, which was 10 times scarier than the giant black beast from before. Lu Ming finally knew why the giant black beast had fled all of a sudden. It was because of these 2 giant pythons. The giant pythons appeared and stared at Lu Ming with their crimson eyes. Run! Lu Ming sprinted forward without hesitation. Hiss, hiss, hiss. When the 2 giant pythons saw Lu Ming running away, their 3 heads uttered cries and twisted their bodies, chasing after Lu Ming and Lu Ming. Its body had a diameter of 100 meters. It was simply like 2 mountain ranges. In front of it, Lu Ming was like an ant. Lu Ming's black wings kept flapping. He ignored the black mist and continued to fly forward at a rapid pace. From time to time, he needed Bubbles' help to escape from the pursuit of the 2 giant pythons. Otherwise, Lu Ming would have been swallowed by the 2 giant pythons. After an unknown period of time, the surrounding mist became thicker and thicker, and the corrosive power became stronger and stronger. Lu Ming had to escape while resisting the surrounding black mist, which consumed a lot of energy. At this time, Lu Ming was sweating all over and gasping for breath. Bubble was almost the same, lying on Lu Ming's body in exhaustion. What is this place? It's so strange. Am I, Lu Ming, going to die here today? Buried in the belly of a snake? No, I can't die here. I promised Xiao Qing that I would rise to the heavens with her. Lu Ming clenched his teeth. A light flashed between his eyebrows, and Ming Lian's second body appeared. He took a step forward, and dense inscriptions flashed. His main body entered the mountain-river diagram and devoured the origin stones to recover. After this period of time, Ming Lian's second body had fully recovered. Moreover, it was a blessing in disguise. His cultivation had advanced further, and he had already ignited 4 spirit lamps. The second body hurried on. After a period of time, when the second body's spirit flame was greatly exhausted, the main body appeared and continued to move forward. Hiss! At this time, the 2 giant pythons suddenly stopped and looked ahead. They seemed to be frightened, then turned around and slithered away. Lu Ming's heart began to turn cold. He thought of the giant bull from before. Could it be that he had entered the territory of an even more terrifying existence and scared the two giant pythons away? Lu Ming stood in place, not knowing where to go for a while. He now knew that this area was a forbidden area, full of danger. Lu Ming, continue to move forward. Dandan looked into the distance and said, "Continue to move forward? The further we go, the stronger the black mist is, and I don't know what terrifying existence there is." Lu Ming said. At this time, the black mist made his chaotic domain tremble. If this continued, Lu Ming would not be able to hold on for long. Lu Ming had already put away the black wings. Otherwise, they might be corroded. "Listen to me, that's right," Dandan said. "All right, I'll listen to you this time." Lu Ming gritted his teeth and took a big step forward. To Lu Ming's surprise, he continued to move forward without encountering any danger, nor did any strange beasts appear. After moving forward for about 1,000 miles, Lu Ming suddenly stopped. His eyes widened as he looked ahead. His whole body seemed to be frozen. This was because Lu Ming saw an extremely shocking scene. In front of him, at an unknown distance, a towering ancient tree rose from the ground, piercing into the depths of the void. This ancient tree was too big, too tall, and too majestic. It was like the legendary world tree, as tall as the sky. On the branches, there was a great Tao aura lingering, incomparably mysterious. Lu Ming was tongue-tied. Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree. Lu Ming recognized at a glance that it was actually a Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree, a fully mature one. Legend had it that a long time ago, many peak powerhouses would have a Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree beside them. And here, Lu Ming actually saw a fully mature Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree. And under the Tao Comprehension Ancient Tree, there was a figure sitting cross-legged. This figure was extremely tall and majestic. Just sitting there cross-legged, the top of his head broke into the sky. There were clouds lingering around his body, and his figure was even taller than a towering mountain. How could there be such a majestic figure? Chapter 1483. It's him. It's really him. He didn't die in the battle back then. Dandan exclaimed. Lu Ming was shocked. Could it be that Dandan knew this figure? "Dandan, do you know him?" Lu Ming asked in a low voice. He was now sure that the two giant pythons had retreated because of this figure. In the depths of this terrifying forbidden area, there was a mature enlightenment ancient tree. Under the enlightenment ancient tree, there was a majestic figure sitting cross-legged. This was beyond Lu Ming's expectations. Moreover, Dandan seemed to know him. "Nonsense. I'd recognize this guy even if he turned into ashes," Dandan muttered, its face full of anger. Could it be that he's Dandan's opponent? Dandan is one of the top 10 battle beasts. What kind of terrifying existence is this majestic figure? Lu Ming's heartbeat quickened. Chirp, chirp. Bubble chirped and looked curiously at the figure. Whoosh. At this moment, the majestic figure suddenly opened its eyes. Two bright rays of light shot out from its eyes, like two peerlessly sharp divine swords, as if they were going to split the world in half. The majestic figure's gaze first fell on Bubble, then on Dandan, and finally on Lu Ming. Being swept by this gaze, Lu Ming felt a terrifying pressure all over his body. He could not even breathe properly. It was as if his body had been penetrated. Strong, too strong. There was only one thought in Lu Ming's mind. This figure didn't release any shocking aura. It just glanced at Lu Ming casually, and Lu Ming felt a terrifying pressure. It was as if he was facing the entire Great Thousand Universe, and he couldn't summon any thoughts of resistance. Lu Ming had a feeling that the figure could turn him into ashes with just a thought. Roar. At this moment, a terrifying roar came from the void in the distance, full of tyrannical intent. That is, Lu Ming finally shifted his gaze from the Tree of Enlightenment and the towering figure to the depths of the void. There, a huge hole seemed to have been torn open in space. An incomparably huge, pitch-black hole quietly floated in the air. It was pitch black inside, as if it led to the abyss of hell. And that terrifying roar came from that abyss-like hole. Roar, roar. Then, the roars came one after another, getting louder and louder, more and more shocking. The sound formed a terrifying sound wave that rushed out, causing Lu Ming's primal chaos domain to tremble violently. Lu Ming's body also trembled violently, continuously retreating, almost spitting out a mouthful of blood. What a terrifying sound! Lu Ming and the hole were separated by an unknown distance. The sound that came out of the hole was actually able to injure Lu Ming. At that moment, the majestic figure stood up. As soon as he stood up, his figure became even more majestic, standing as tall as the sky. The majestic figure flicked his finger slightly, and a ray of light flew towards Lu Ming and the others, forming a light curtain that blocked Lu Ming and the others. That terrifying sound immediately disappeared. The majestic figure was actually protecting them. It seemed that he was really an old acquaintance of Dandan. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Roar! The roar shook the sky. At that moment, Lu Ming saw a shocking scene. Two tentacles suddenly stretched out of the pitch-black hole. These two tentacles were incomparably huge, like two octopus tentacles, pitch black. The two tentacles stretched out and pressed on both sides of the huge hole, as if trying to support the larger figure behind it. Slash! The majestic figure coldly spat out a word, and the world rumbled as if it had been blessed by the great Tao. Two terrifying sabers slashed towards the two tentacles. But at that moment, two more pitch-black tentacles stretched out of the pitch-black hole, curling towards the two sabers. With two bangs, the two sabers were destroyed. Bang! Bang! The majestic figure stepped out. His eyes were like lightning, and his body was surrounded by endless light, as if the great Tao of heaven and earth was surrounding him. Lu Ming was shocked. What kind of realm was this? When the body moved, the great Tao moved. It was as if the great Tao of heaven and earth was his weapon and slave. This realm was already incredible, reaching an unimaginable level. Boom! Boom! The majestic figure threw out two punches in a row. The two pitch-black tentacles directly exploded, and endless black liquid flew in all directions and scattered on the ground. Within the black liquid, wisps of black mist were emitted. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that the pitch-black world, the black mist, and the black mud were formed by the explosion of these tentacles? Roar! The tentacles were broken, and angry roars came from the pitch-black hole. The terrifying sound waves caused the void where the majestic figure was to collapse and turn into chaos. The terrifying sound waves passed through endless distance and rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Boom! Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he felt his blood boil. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Dandan, who was on Lu Ming's shoulder, was also sent flying. Damn it, this guy is definitely doing it on purpose. Since he wants to protect us, why didn't he completely isolate the sound waves and let some of them in? This guy is doing it on purpose. He's jealous of me. Dandan shouted, staring hatefully at the majestic figure in the distance. Roar! Roars continued to be heard from the hole, and a huge head appeared in the hole. The head was covered in scales, and there were 3 eyes in the middle of its brows. 3 eyes. Lu Ming could not help but think of the 3-eyed divine tribe that he met on a small island in the Heaven Realm in the War of Providence. The huge head appeared, and the 3rd eye in the middle of its brows shot out a destructive light toward the majestic figure. The majestic figure punched out and destroyed the destructive light. At this time, a few more tentacles stretched out from the hole and pressed around the hole. The huge figure seemed to want to crawl out. Go back! The majestic figure shouted, and his voice rumbled. He punched out, and the world was annihilated by the fist energy. The tentacles that were pressing around the hole all exploded one by one. Black liquid scattered across the vast land, and some of it even sprayed toward Lu Ming and the others. Fortunately, the majestic figure had set up a light shield for them, which blocked the black liquid. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster for Lu Ming and the others. Kill! At this time, the majestic figure roared and stepped out, rushing directly into the dark hole. Boom! Boom! There was an earth-shattering roar in the pitch-black hole. The void collapsed directly. Lu Ming looked through the collapsed void and saw the scene inside. It was an incomparably huge figure covered in scales. It was somewhat similar to the 3-eyed divine tribe that he saw before. However, its size was many times bigger than the three-eyed divine tribe. Moreover, there were 8 huge pitch-black tentacles on its back, which looked extremely ferocious. This figure held 2 huge axes in its hands and engaged in a fierce battle with the majestic figure. The majestic figure was strengthened by the great Tao, and its combat strength was astonishing. The two of them kept colliding, and the void kept collapsing. Chapter 1484. The towering figure and the ferocious creature fought in the extraterritorial starry sky. However, Lu Ming could still see it clearly. Through the collapsing void, he could vaguely see 2 figures fighting in the extraterrestrial starry sky. It was as though they were projected. It was very fascinating. The 2 huge figures fought in the extraterritorial starry sky, and the space was collapsing. Moo! Suddenly, the towering figure roared into the sky and turned into a huge, heavenly bull. Its 2 horns were like 2 divine blades. The body of the towering figure was actually a huge, heavenly bull. The heavenly bull stepped in the air, and every step it took caused the space to collapse. Moo! The heavenly bull roared, and the space became chaotic. Lu Ming even saw the stars in the extraterritorial starry sky explode like fireworks. Lu Ming gasped. It was too terrifying. A roar could cause the stars to explode. How terrifying was that? Could a person's strength really reach such a level? Lu Ming had a feeling that given the combat power of the towering figure, he could completely flatten a continent like the divine wilderness in one move. One move, and the divine wilderness would disappear from the world. Such strength was beyond Lu Ming's imagination. Is this the strength of a great emperor? But even Emperor Tsong and Master Mia Hun weren't this terrifying. Lu Ming muttered, "Kid, what do you know? Even though we're both great emperors, our strength is worlds apart. When I was at my peak, I could kill a bunch of ordinary great emperors with one slap." Dandan said arrogantly. Lu Ming was skeptical of Dandan's words. Lu Ming believed that although they were both great emperors, there was a great disparity in their combat abilities. However, ordinary great emperors weren't that weak. When he saw Emperor Tsong and Master Mia Hun, they were severely injured and had fought against each other for 60,000 years. They were extremely weak. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Emperor Tsong to turn the situation around with just a lightning cauldron. If Emperor Tsong and Master Mia Hun were at their peak, they would definitely be terrifying. The heavenly bull roared and shattered the stars. It also caused the tentacles behind the three-eyed being to explode. Then, the heavenly bull stepped in the air, and its 2 horns turned into 2 heavenly blades. 2 black blade marks appeared in the extraterritorial starry sky. From afar, it looked like the entire extraterritorial starry sky had been split. The three-eyed being roared and held 2 battle axes to fight against the 2 heavenly blades. The extraterritorial starry sky was destroyed. If that terrifying attack landed on the ground, it would definitely cause the heavens and earth would be destroyed. In the blink of an eye, the 2 terrifying existences had exchanged more than 10 blows. But in the end, the heavenly bull was. The heavenly bull stomped through the air, smashing through all of the opponent's defenses. It smashed into the opponent's body, causing a huge hole to appear. Then, the heavenly blade formed by the bull's horns slashed down, cutting off the opponent's head. Sky, sky, sky. Bull, sky, 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 bull. Sky, 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 sky. Moo. In sky, 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 sky. Moo. The heavenly bull roared once more. The three-eyed being finally couldn't take it anymore. Its entire body exploded in the void. But even so, the other party was still not dead. 2 huge arms, holding the giant axe, continued to slash at the heavenly bull. The shattered flesh and the severed head were wriggling rapidly. They were quickly gluing themselves back together, trying to restore themselves. How could the heavenly bull allow the other party to succeed? He stepped forward, his entire body shining. This was the result of the great Tao being added to his body. Terrifying great Tao laws surrounded the other party, starting to refine him. Chi, the flesh and blood of the three-eyed being seemed to be immersed in flames. It was constantly being refined, turning into black smoke and dissipating. You can't stop my world. You are just a defeated general, struggling at death's door. The head that had been cut off let out a roar, and the third eye on its forehead even shot out a destructive beam of light to attack the heaven beetle, but it was destroyed by the heaven beetle. The heaven realm is about to be destroyed, and the primordial realm will not be spared either. All of you are just struggling at death's door. Wait until the primordial realm opens up a path, and the army will destroy all of you. The head let out another roar. Poochie. 2 heavenly blades slashed down, splitting the huge head in half. The great Tao laws condensed, and the three-eyed being turned into black smoke and dissipated. My world, my race, will avenge me. After a few hours, when the last voice was heard, the three-eyed being was finally completely refined. The huge heavenly bull once again transformed into a human form. He took a step forward and reappeared under the tree of enlightenment. An earth-shattering battle had come to an end, but that kind of shock made Lu Ming's heart tremble, and he could not calm down. Such an existence should be the pinnacle of the world, right? It was true that with a thought, heaven and earth would collapse, and with a rage, millions of corpses would fall. It was unbelievably powerful. TSK, this old bull can't take it anymore. It took so long to kill such an opponent. It seems that it was also badly injured in the battle back then, Dandan muttered, making Lu Ming's eyelids twitch. Such terrifying combat strength was still not enough? Hey, old bull, long time no see. Did you miss me? Dandan shouted at the towering figure. The towering figure looked at Dandan and said in a booming voice, "You old tortoise, you're still alive. You're quite lucky. Ha ha ha, even an old bull like you isn't dead yet. Who am I? How can I die so easily? Old bull, it's been a long time since we last met. Why don't you give me a greeting gift? What emperor medicine? Give me 100 or so stalks? Or emperor weapons?" Dandan laughed. Lu Ming was speechless. This guy was really greedy. However, Lu Ming was also looking forward to it. He thought that if the towering figure really gave Dandan a few stalks of emperor medicine, he must find a way to get some. The towering figure seemed to smile. With a wave of his hand, a ball of light flew through the air. However, the ball of light did not fly to Dandan, but to the bubble. Its speed was unbelievably fast. In an instant, it had arrived in front of the bubble. Before Lu Ming could see clearly what it was, Bubbles opened its mouth and swallowed the ball of light. It had a look of enjoyment on its face. "Time and space crystal. Old bull, you're really generous. What about me? Where are my treasures?" Dandan opened its eyes wide. "Go," the towering figure said. "Hey, wait, my treasures. You old bull, you're taking revenge on me for being more handsome than you." Dandan cursed loudly, jabbering on and on. The towering figure waved his hand, and an invisible force surged. Lu Ming felt his body tighten. Then, he saw the scenery around him flashing past. In the next moment, Lu Ming found that he had already left the dark place and was standing on a mountain peak. Revenge, revenge. This old bull must be taking revenge. Damn it, he didn't give me anything. Chapter 1485. Heavy color? Lu Ming was speechless. Could it be that Bubble is a female? But it's only a few years old. Could it be Bubble's mother, the legendary space-time spirit mouse? Lu Ming thought to himself, but he was happy for Bubble. Looking at Eggy's appearance, the space-time crystal must be extraordinary. Chirp, chirp. Bubble chirped as its body emitted a milky white light. That light seemed real and illusory at the same time, as if it was shrouded in the law of space-time. It looked at Dandan proudly. This made Dandan so angry that even its shell turned green. "Dandan, who is that person? Why is he so powerful?" Lu Ming asked curiously. Lu Ming speculated that the figure should be from the same era as Dandan, or even an expert of the same level. Could it be another one of the top 10 war beasts? Who else could it be? You can tell from its size. It's one of the top 10 war beasts, the Titan longhorn beetle. It was my underling back then. Dandan curled its lips. As expected, Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat, revealing a shocked expression. He had come into contact with a few of the top 10 war beasts. His first bloodline, the 9 dragons. There was also Dandan, who called himself the world's divine turtle, the leader of the top 10. Of course, Lu Ming didn't take it seriously. There was also Bubble, the descendant of the space-time spirit mouse. There was also Long Chin's bloodline, the immemorial dragonesque elephant. But none of the war beasts he came into contact with were their original bodies. They either appeared in their bloodlines or were their descendants. As for Dandan, it had also undergone nirvana rebirth. As for the Titan longhorn beetle, it was the real original body. Although Dandan said that it wasn't at its peak and was injured, the real original body, the legendary one, had earth-shattering combat power. As for Dandan saying that the Titan longhorn beetle was his underling, Lu Ming directly ignored it. Dandan would die if he didn't brag. How many of the top 10 war beasts are still alive? Lu Ming muttered. Without a doubt, the top 10 war beasts were definitely the pinnacle of existence in the world. Every one of them was a taboo, one of a kind, and one of a kind. Back then, the old space-time spirit mouse had died, and only then could a new one be born. I don't know either. Dandan showed a rare look of contemplation and solemnity, as if he was sighing with emotion. Chirp, chirp. At this moment, Bubble cried out and pointed one of its claws forward. Lu Ming looked ahead. Mo! Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. The mountain where they had appeared was not far from the death wasteland. From afar, one could see the pitch-black river. Beside the river, Emohi stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking at the wasteland of death. Humph, I have to think of a way to get rid of this person. Lu Ming revealed a cold killing intent. This time, he was lucky to have survived. It could be said that it was full of danger. Lu Ming would definitely take revenge for this. Got it. Lu Ming's eyes flickered, and Ming Lian's second body appeared. Lu Ming's plan was very simple. He would let Ming Lian's second body inscribe a formation and kill Mo He. Ming Lian's second body took a step forward and appeared in a valley behind the mountain. He began to inscribe a formation. I'll help. Dandan followed. How could he be left out when it came to killing people? As for Lu Ming, he restrained his aura and quietly approached the river. The river was very long, dividing the land into two. One side was the death wasteland, and the other side was normal land. Lu Ming quietly came to the side of the river and hid behind a huge rock. He was 100 miles away from Mo He. Lu Ming completely restrained his aura and quietly observed. I wonder how that kid is doing. Is he dead? Mo He looked at the death wasteland and frowned. Let's hope those guys can kill that kid and bring his corpse out. This time, he was ordered to bring people to kill Lu Ming. He was confident that he would bring back Lu Ming's body, but he did not expect that Lu Ming would escape into the death wasteland. He did not dare to go in, so he could only wait here. Time flew by quickly. Soon, a day had passed. Why haven't they come out yet? Did they all die in there? The death wasteland is very dangerous. Even Saint Realm experts will die in there. A great emperor once went in and came out with a grave expression. It's definitely dangerous inside. That kid has been in there for so long. He probably won't survive. I'll wait for another day. I'll wait for another day. Soon, another day passed. It seems that kid has died in there. Let's go back. Mo He turned around and stepped into the air, intending to leave. As for the 5 7th level Martial Royal Realm martial artists, they were just ants in his eyes. He did not care about them at all. He's leaving? The time is too short. However, I've engraved the formation for 2 days. It should be enough to kill him. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. Then, he circulated his true origin. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, Lu Ming slammed his palm on a boulder beside him. The boulder exploded with a bang. In the distance, Mo He, who was about to leave, was alerted and looked over. Lu Ming, you're not dead. Mo He's eyes widened and he shouted angrily. Whoosh. Lu Ming did not bother to pay attention to Mo He. He pretended that he had just rushed out of the death wasteland and was seriously injured as he flew into the distance. Wanna run? Die. Mo He shouted angrily and turned into a ray of demonic light, chasing after Lu Ming at an extremely fast speed. A pair of black wings appeared on Lu Ming's back. With a flap, He flew toward the mountain at lightning speed. When he was about to arrive, Lu Ming rushed into the canyon. As for his second body and Dandan, they had hidden long ago. Emohi did not suspect anything and followed Lu Ming into the canyon. At that moment, Lu Ming suddenly stopped. Why aren't you running? Do you know that you can't run away? Where are the people from the Sky Universe Demon Sect? Emohi said coldly. Those pieces of trash are all dead. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Trash indeed. You can't even kill a second-level Martial Royal Realm ant like you. You deserve to die. Emohi said coldly. Demonic chi surged from his body and pressed toward Lu Ming. An ant? Then I'll show you the counterattack of an ant. Lu Ming smiled coldly and took a step forward. Buzz. The entire canyon was filled with dense inscriptions, and a large formation appeared. A killing formation? You came out long ago? When the formation appeared, Emohi's expression changed drastically. He finally understood that Lu Ming had come out long ago and set up a formation to lure him here. Kill. Lu Ming did not bother to talk nonsense with him and shouted. In the depths of the canyon, Ming Lian's second body waved his hands, and the formation lit up. Endless sword rays condensed and shot toward Emohi. You want to kill me with a formation? Dream on. Break. Emohi roared, and demonic chi surged from his body. It seemed like a demon god was roaring at the sky. Chapter 1486. The formation appeared and the inscriptions shone. In the depths of the valley, the glabella of Ming Lian's second body shone with a golden light. Within the formation, golden sword rays condensed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Golden sword rays shot out from all directions, attacking Emohi. Break, break, break. Emohi looked up to the sky and roared. His body emitted a demonic light. The pitch-black demonic saber swept in all directions like an invincible demon god. Wherever the demonic saber passed, the golden sword chi collapsed. Not far away, Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Emohi's battle prowess is so strong. When I fought with him a few days ago, he didn't use his full strength. The battle prowess he displayed now was extremely shocking. Although it had only been 2 days and the formation set up by Ming Lian's second body couldn't be too terrifying, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to kill an 8th-level martial king. But now, it was blocked by Emohi. A superior earth spiritual body. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Emohi's spiritual body should be a superior earth spiritual body. With such a physique, his battle prowess was self-evident and extremely shocking. In the entire Tsang Prefecture, there weren't many forces with a superior earth spiritual body. Each of them was a top genius and was invincible among those of the same level. Fighting against those of a higher level was as easy as eating and drinking. What's the use of a formation? Watch how I break your formation. Emohi roared. His demonic saber was shocking. With a slash, countless golden sword rays collapsed. Boom. The demonic saber slashed at one side of the valley. The valley shook and collapsed. Its power was shocking. He wanted to break through the valley and destroy Lu Ming's formation. Hee, then I'll add another gift. At this time, Dandan had already left Ming Lian's second body and arrived on the shoulder of Lu Ming's main body. He grinned and inscriptions flashed on his claws. Buzz. In the valley, another formation appeared. This was the formation set up by Dandan. When the formation appeared, it condensed into huge hammers that smashed toward Emohi's head. Boom, boom, boom. As the hammer smashed down, Emohi's devil saber trembled. His body also trembled involuntarily, and he retreated a few steps. Then, an endless amount of sword chi pierced down, accompanied by a series of hammers. Emohi's expression was grave as he slashed out with his saber. However, his saber was intercepted by the hammer, and under the continuous bombardment, it directly collapsed. Haha! Smash, 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 smash this bastard. No, smash this bastard to death. Dandan shouted arrogantly as it waved its claws. Finally, Moh was completely suppressed, unable to retaliate. He could only passively defend. Whoosh, whoosh. Sword chi swept out, and several of them almost chopped off Emohi's head, leaving behind a bloody mark on his face. Fear flashed across Mo's face. Magic night mirror, go. A ray of light shot out from between his eyebrows. Then, a pitch-black ancient mirror flew out and floated above Emohi's head. A ray of light fell down and enveloped Emohi. The sword chi in the surroundings and the hammer smashed onto the light screen of the ancient mirror. The light screen shook, but it didn't break. A sacred artifact. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. The ancient mirror that Emohi used was a sacred artifact. Thinking about it, it was normal for a prodigy like Emohi to have a sacred artifact to protect himself. With the sacred artifact protecting himself, Emohi abandoned his own defense and focused on attacking. Boom, boom. The demonic saber swept out, and rays of saber light swept out in all directions, colliding with the golden sword chi and the hammer. The two arrays shook. Kill. Emohi slowly charged in one direction, breaking through the sword chi and hammer as he slowly approached the exit of the canyon. If this continued, it was very likely that Emohi would escape. It seems that I still underestimated the strength of this prodigy. This thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind, but the killing intent in his eyes intensified. Dandan, Bubble, attack. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Dandan and Bubbles. Then, the black wings on his back spread open. With a swoosh, he charged toward Emohi. As he charged, Lu Ming's hands rapidly formed hand seals. Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal. A low roar came from Lu Ming's mouth. A large chaotic seal condensed above Emohi's head, bringing with it a terrifying fluctuation as it pressed down on Emohi. At the same time, Dandan flew out and rapidly grew. Just like before, it stepped on the Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal, making it even more terrifying. The Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal pressed down on Emohi with mountain-toppling momentum. Emohi's eyes narrowed. He knew the power of the Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal, so he roared. The pitch-black ancient mirror emitted boundless demonic light as it met the Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal. Boom! There was a terrifying explosion as the Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal slammed into the pitch-black ancient mirror, creating a terrifying shockwave. By then, Lu Ming had already rushed to a spot not far from Emohi. Two black rays of light suddenly shot out from his eyes and shot toward Emohi. Divine Sword Art. The black light was like a divine sword that shot into Emohi's body and attacked his spiritual deity. Emohi's spiritual deity felt a tearing pain, and his aura became sluggish. The circulation of his quintessence also became sluggish. Right at that moment, Bubble launched an attack. Several space-time blades slashed out at Emohi. At the same time, the two arrays, Endless Golden Sword Chi, and the large hammer also bombarded Emohi. Boom, boom. Emohi's body shook. Although he tried his best to block, his defense was broken by so many attacks. The scattered light from the black ancient mirror shattered with a bang. Slash. The black wings on Lu Ming's back were like heavenly blades that slashed at Emohi, wanting to cut him in half. Emohi's pupil shrank, and at the critical moment, he moved slightly to the side. Poochie. Blood splattered everywhere. Although Emohi had avoided death, he still couldn't completely avoid it. One of his arms was chopped off by the black wings. Arg. Emohi screamed miserably, and a crazed look appeared in his eyes. With a furious roar, the blood from his severed arm flew toward the pitch-black ancient mirror. At this moment, the pitch-black ancient mirror shone brightly, emitting a dark red demonic light. A terrifying might rippled out from it. Lu Ming hurriedly used the black wings to shield his body. With the impact of this force, his body shook and he was sent flying out, crashing into the wall. At the same time, the Primal Chaos Flipping Sky Seal finally ran out of power and collapsed. Dandan cried out as he was sent flying. The golden sword chi and the large hammer formed by the array also collapsed. Lu Ming, I will remember this grudge. The next time we meet, I will definitely kill you. A furious roar came from Emohi's mouth. The black ancient mirror emitted a bloody light that wrapped around Emohi and rushed out of the array's range. He rushed out of the canyon and turned into a ray of bloody light that quickly fled. It's a pity that there wasn't enough time. The array's power isn't enough. Lu Ming looked in the direction Emohi had left with some regret. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.